Hi everyone, it's Carol with Carol's Crazy Crochet and more. Boy, I've got a bad reflection on my glasses. There we go. Maybe that's a little better. I've got that light up so that I could do the tabletop show. So here's this Noro yarn that I got, and I got this from Webs, and I wanted to do a little review on it. This is the Noro Okumashima, Okunoshima. There you go. And it is 35% silk, 25% wool, 20% Angora, and 17% mohair. And so my husband smelled it and he said it smells like burlap. Well, I haven't ever smelled burlap. And so he explained it to me, and then it's the wool, I guess, as well. But once I got it out and started working with it, the smell did not affect me at all as I was working with it. And so I wanted to show you, I made a pretty big swatch, but I wanted to show you how it worked up. And I'll show it to you a little bit better when I turn you around. But I just love how those front posts and back posts turned out. And the color changes came out of the ball just like this. I did not color control it at all. And so with a bigger garment, this would be different. The pattern would be changing rapidly, but you can see how long the stripes are in this stitch, or in this swatch. So you can kind of know when your color changes are going to be, so that you can kind of expect. Or with hand-dyed yarn, you can't count on anything, but you would hope that they would kind of work out the same. But it doesn't really matter when you're doing a handmade item anyway, because it's your personal item and it is going to be perfect the way that you make it for yourself or for a gift, and it's made with love. So let's turn the camera around and take a look at this yarn. Okay, so let's really take a look at this yarn close up. So here's the tag, the Noro, and it's in Japanese. It's the world of nature. I think we already went over this, so I'm not going to try and read all this little writing right here. But I don't know if it'll focus or not. Okay, so anyway, let's look at it. It is soft. It is scarfable. It is scarfable. And when I first started working with it, it's a little strange to work with, but I wanted to show you what it works up to be. And so this is my swatch. I made a pretty big swatch. And I started off with single crochets, and this is just the way it came out of that ball. This is what I have left of what I was working with. And so it started off with this kind of tan color, and then it went into this lighter beige color, and then it's this rose pink and gray color, and then it's a lavender, and then the gray, and then it repeats the pink and gray, and then it has just the solid pink, and then the purples. And you can see here where the purple transitioned from the purple to the tan, and it's a very nice transition. Let me see if I can find one down here. Well, let's look for one up here. It's hard to find one. Well, I have some stitch markers here to point out a couple of things. These are my stitch markers. You can win those in a giveaway. To support mental health, green ribbon. Let me get my needle. Sorry, guys. There it is. So I wanted to show you, now I lost my stitch. This stitch right here. Look how thick this is. You see how thick that is? Let me bring it up a little closer. See that? Well, look right up here. Look at this one. And that's the roving in it. And I have never worked with, I guess, a true roving because this was a new experience for me. And working with this yarn is like no other yarn I've ever worked with. And I did these front post, back posts, and I think this just is the perfect stitch for this yarn. I love how it looks. The baubles are okay, but the singles and the doubles, it doesn't really show off the stitch, if you know what I mean. I mean, it'd be pretty for a solid stitch like this, maybe for a sweater. But if you've got the yarn, because this is a yarn eater, if you've got the yarn to do the front post, back post, which is what I'm gonna do for my garment because I just love it. So I have another stitch marker here to point something out. Oh, the transition here. Right here. From here. See this? It's where the transition starts, and then it goes into the gray or the pink. And so you can barely see the difference in this pink, and then it stops, and then it gradually starts with the pink and gray. And so I ended up with these front post, back post in the tan, and then it gradually goes into the gray here, more gray, and then it just coincidentally came up on the edge again with the pink. And so the pink goes on, and then it transitions here on the edge again, which is very unusual. You can see where the transition is right here, and then it goes on to the pink. But right here, you can see the transition from this pink into the darker pink here. You see where I've got these darker ones? And so then it goes up to the pink, and then it transitions once again here on the edge where I started to do just some scallops to see what it was to work with. I wanted to try different stitches. I had a hard time finding a hook, and I started off using the Addy Maxi, and I had a hard time working with it with this hook. For some reason, it just wants to kind of stick. You see, this is really thin right here in this section. See how thin that is? And so what I'm doing here is what am I doing here? Let's undo this, see what we're doing. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. That's why I forgot I was working on the back side. And so let me show you the back side while I've got you back here. Pull out some yarn there. Here, I've got some markers in where I wanted to show you the thinness of this yarn right here. Look how thin that is. And then look at this one up here. Look at the thickness of that one. Right there. And you just never know when it's going to go from thick to thin. I was going to point out the transition, that this is where the transition starts to go to the lighter color. And then over here, I wanted to show you this fabric right here, this yarn where it just came out this little bit. Look how thick that is. And I mean, people aren't going to notice that. And I guess that's, you know, the nature of the yarn. And that's what people like about roving yarn. I just haven't ever experienced it. Look how thin these are. Look at this one. Look how thin that is. Right there next to each other. So it was very interesting to work with. However, this yarn, I want to show you what it does. While I'm working with it, as I pull it out of the skein, it comes out like this. Have you guys ever worked with yarn that does this? I don't know what the deal is, but it is such an annoying thing. I don't know if all the skeins are done this way, if it's the way that it's wound, but I mean, it just goes on where it's just twisted like that, and you have to crochet it into your work, and it just makes, I don't know, you see here's another section here. And I just wanted to point that out to you, because as you're crocheting along, you go along and you come to this thing in your hand, this little bunch of yarn, and it's just, it slows you down. It slows you down. So the hook that I ended up finding that works best with this yarn is my Susan Bates. And this is one of Veronica's hooks from Steals the Show Crochet and Chef, I think, is that right? Where she puts the little stitch markers on the end of her hooks. And this is a 6mm, and she's got it stamped right there. I'll put her Facebook, I'll put her link in the description. You have to email her, but she'll send you lots of pictures and do custom work. And so working with it it's like rough. It doesn't flow smoothly over your hook. I mean, and I tried my tulip hooks. I tried my, you see this is where it's going to thin again. I tried my Hiya hooks. I tried a Furls hook, and it just is not sliding. I did not try an acrylic hook, which maybe I should go get one and try an acrylic hook. But I mean, you see what I mean about this coming up? Someone leave me a comment on what to do about this, because I just don't know. And so I love the yarn. I love the yarn. This is the back side of the work that I was doing, so you can see. Oh, and there was a knot at the very beginning, and I just went ahead and crocheted through it because I'm going to undo this and undo the swatch and hank it back up. And then this is just a thin one I was going to show you here. And so Melissa, who Crochets with Love, made these stitch markers for me, and I'll put her link below. She sells stitch markers and earrings, beautiful items. And so she made these special for me. I bought them. I commissioned her to make them for me. And so I like to support mental health. And so would I buy this yarn again? No, I would not buy this yarn again. It's not pleasant to work with. It doesn't flow over my hands. It's rough on my hands to work with. It works up fairly soft, and it has, you know, a good drape. I was using a 6 and a 6.5mm hook, and so it has a good drape. But I don't care for the yarn. I just don't care for it. And I will use it, and I will make something beautiful with it, but I just won't buy it again. So there you go. Let's look at that again. The colors are beautiful, I have to admit. And I'm glad I did choose this colorway, because looking at the ball, you don't know how those colors are going to come out. You just don't know. So that's it. Thanks for dropping by, spending some time with me, checking out this yarn. And I hope you liked what you saw and had a good time. And please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Stay safe, stay smart, and stay sassy. Bye-bye.